That's how it feels whenever I just
As much as I love this apartment, I am manifesting, calling in, drawing in, aligning with a relatively solo European excursion with plenty of room for fellow eccentrics to join me, meet me, take me on magical adventures, let me stay in their beautiful castle in the south of France. I am trying to write, and my brain does really well and feels fresh and alive and in a state of ecstasy that borders on feeling high, that I only realize once I am home again. And I've always found that traveling and being in motion and being on my way from somewhere, one place to another, is like soothing, calming. It feels like I'm like, okay, we can rest now. Or like, well, there couldn't possibly be anything more for us to do. We're already going from one place to another. I found myself having the most visions and most, like, I guess I felt the most present when I was like on a train. And I think that it must have something to do with really understanding that like there's nothing else that I could possibly need to do right now. I'm already going from one place to another, therefore I've already like, you know, bought my tickets, I've already like made like the arrangements, I don't have to work, I must have the amount of money I need to get there. I'm going somewhere, like I'm already doing it. And I think that usually I feel like, well, if I want to experience that sense of freedom and that sense of floating and like I can do anything and go anywhere, I have to make a lot of arrangements and plan for it and like make sure I'm stable and make sure I have, you know, like there's a lot of like things. So once I'm finally like, it's this sort of suspended state where things are already all worked out and I get to just relax and watch the scenery go by and vibe with the journey. I get to vibe with the journey, and when you get to vibe with the journey, then you are fully in a sense of the present moment. And that's it. I mean, I think I know that we are not supposed to be as sedentary as we are, as stagnant as we are. We are meant to be constantly like moving and in motion, in some regard, whether that is through like a creative expression or through like actually moving around and like doing something. Like we are here to be like doing stuff, as much as we are here to be resting. Those things fully, they go much together. But capitalism and society doesn't really allow us to do either of those things. It might be keeping you stagnant in one place, but at the same time it's not letting you like rest necessarily, and it's also not letting you express yourself at the full capacity that you need to. So you're actually just like kind of in the middle, and you're like, there's no output, but there's also no like there's no time for input and for like receiving and for receptivity and for regeneration. So yeah, as much as I do love this apartment, I've been here for 5 years. I'm scared. The idea of leaving here actually kind of scares me, which is funny because I think it's just that the attachment is just, we get so accustomed to doing one thing, and then it can be hard. So yeah, I have a problem with like going via extremes. I used to be someone who was constantly moving around, and I didn't really like that either. And basically I just feel like, I mean, I could write my book here, but I don't know, something about, I've been being called to Europe for like several years now, and so I feel like I should probably listen to that call. The one thing that I would figure out is like, I would kind of prep myself to, you know, when I return, be like, okay, well, you need to make sure that you're prepared to pay like $1,500 a month for an apartment, because I'm never gonna go below this apartment again, this standard. You know, it could be a little bit smaller, but it has to be this nice, and like I have to love it as much and for it to inspire me as much. So I have to be willing to pay a decent amount for like a nice, pretty, like, you know, vintage, like well cared for apartment, because I just totally flashed the camera mid-sentence, so I'm gonna have to cut that out. So that's what I would prepare for. I would also kind of entertain the idea of like, where else could I live that would be cheaper? You know, if I am really going to be a nomad within the next year, which I think is fully within reach and will happen in a number of ways, then, you know, where would I want to settle in Europe temporarily for 6 months or a year, or somewhere in between that, you know, or somewhere else, Central America, you know, like, would I do something like that? So I would try to conceptualize like what like a general timeline would look like, so that I'm not just like abandoning my sense of stability from the last 5 years and, you know, then returning and back, kind of being back at ground zero, like, and being like, well, Now, for some reason, I can only afford $500 a month. And oops, I lost that like really good apartment, or like, you know, but yeah, I can't deny that I have been receiving these, I don't know what you would call them, like intuitions, downloads for a while now about Europe, and I think that that might be like an important next step. And I'm doing everything that I can to, you know, make sure I'm supported and remind myself that I'm supported, and I do feel supported. And it's just kind of about carrying your vibe around with you everywhere, like carrying your bubble of energy. Like, how do you always want to feel? And then letting life orchestrate around and under you in order to prop you up to that place. And I've decided that this is how I want to feel. Like, the way this apartment makes me feel is this is my bare minimum for how I expect to feel, you know? I need to be in environments that are at least this beautiful, have this amount of potential for art and creativity, and make me feel this safe and protected. And I'm never going to settle for anything less. And I think I have made that very clear through my social media and through the conversations that I have with new and old friends, that this is my bubble. This is my desired bubble. You can either help me maintain this desired bubble, or you can leave me alone. But this is the vibe. Don't fuck up the vibe. Add to the vibe, expand the vibe. I will also expand to your vibe. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of energy to give, and I am ready to manifest with people and to build fucking magical worlds that we have been dreaming about since we were children and teenagers. And, you know, talking to your friends and being like, let's build a commune with all of our friends. Let's all live in a loft space, you know, all of us together. Let's all travel the world in like a big bus, you know. Like, how many conversations have you had like that with your friends? Because I know that I've had a lot. And I was really disappointed when I realized that we were all kind of collectively giving up on these dreams. And I understood why. And I think that a part of us has always been fighting to get there, just in case. But we've been kind of half-assing it, you know, and I really, I see a way forward. I see these dreams coming true. I see the path. I see most of what's on the path even. And you know what? I'm not gonna die without having lived my dreams. I'm not. I'm absolutely fucking not. Like, this person is way too fucking cool, and I know that I chose her. And at the very least, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna get as close as I can, because any time spent doing anything else is a waste. And is not the vibe. And I want to be known as someone who didn't give up on her visions and her ideals and her story and her world, because that is the most disappointing thing I can think of. And I have a reputation at stake, and a life and a story to honor, and an identity to honor. And the way I'm gonna do all of that so yeah, hope you understand, and I hope you will add something helpful to the path. A rainbow. Oh, I think it's right there. I don't know if you can see it, but through my eyes, I can see it. I came down here with an intention that I'm not sure about anymore, but I guess I'll still... It feels like it might be overly negative, but it comes through my brain sometimes, and it hit me at a certain point with my ex where I was like, wow, the fact that he is willing to have, or has the foresight or the emotional intelligence to have certain boundaries with certain women in his life, that he, you know, as a level of protection towards them that he's never had towards me. And I have never gotten the chance to say this to him, but occasionally when he reaches out to me again, and I feel like it's, you know, when he's lonely or not getting, you know, feeling attention starved, and I just want to be like, do you understand how disrespectful it is that you are willing to bring me into, you know, your lust, while being unwilling to bring other people into this lust because you have love for them. And I'm one of those people that believes that everyone that comes into our life is there for a reason, and that there's a level of friendship there. But sometimes I do wonder if there's any love between us at all. And it's not just him. This was something, you know, I was willing to bring him into my chaos where I wasn't willing to bring other people in because I respected them so much. And I guess for some reason I didn't respect him. You know, I confused that chaos with love. I confused that passion with love, and I think that's how he feels. But I just wanted to have that on here, just so I, you know, don't go back on it, or it probably will resonate with someone else. But it's true, when we are in states of survival mode and our life is chaos and we don't have control over our emotions or our actions really, or our energy, the way that love looks is very different. You know, love can look like staying away from certain people and putting walls up, and you don't see that as love until all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I had so much respect for these people that I actually intentionally kept them away from me and kept them out of, you know, the stuff I was going through, and they did the same thing for me. And what feels like love is actually just a bunch of chaos, and it's just you feeling a distorted level of safety and comfort with someone because they mirror your own darkness, and you feel like they can handle it, or, you know, it's okay to put it on them because you guys feel the same. And that's not love. Sometimes love is the stuff that happens in between.